What if I told you that the most profound lesson about living came not from a philosopher, not from a monk, but from a penguin who walked towards certain death? And what if I told you that this penguin understood something about life that most humans spend their entire existence trying to figure out? This is not just another animal story. This is about you, about me, about the choice we avoid every single day. Let me take you to Antarctica. 15 years ago, in Werner Herzog's haunting documentary, a camera captured something extraordinary. A group of penguins waddles together toward the ocean, toward survival, toward food. But then, one penguin stops. He stands completely still as his entire world moves forward without him. And then he does something that defies every evolutionary instinct. He turns around and he starts walking. Not toward the ocean, not toward food, not toward safety. He walks toward the mountains, 70 kilometers of nothing. No food, no shelter. It's only ice, wind, and absolute certainty of death. The narrator says something chilling. Even if you pick him up and carry him back, he will turn around again. He has made his choice. And suddenly, you realize you're not watching a confused bird. You're watching a mirror. That moment when the penguin stopped, the Japanese have a word for what happened inside him. They call it satori, a sudden, irreversible awakening. The samurai wrote about this moment when a warrior realizes that surviving is not the same as living. That penguin had done everything right. He had followed the group, played the game, done what penguins do, but something inside him broke open. The Japanese call that emptiness munishiza, the hollowness that comes from living a borrowed life, and in that moment he chose himself, not survival, not comfort, himself. Watch what happens next. A human being stands directly in his path, a giant compared to him. But the penguin doesn't stop, doesn't hesitate, doesn't even look up. He walks around and continues. The Japanese call this Fudoshin, the immovable mind, a mind so clear, so resolved, that the entire world can stand in your way and you will simply walk around it. This is not stubbornness. This is clarity so absolute that doubt cannot enter. The samurai trained their entire lives to reach this state. That penguin found it in a single moment. Here's what most people miss. Notice what the penguin doesn't do. He doesn't stop to explain, doesn't justify, doesn't look back at his group as if to say, "You wouldn't understand." He simply walks. The ancient Japanese masters called this markosu, to kill with silence. Because here's the truth. If you're still explaining yourself, you're still asking for permission. And if you're asking for permission, the decision isn't complete inside you yet. That penguin gives no one the power to change his mind. His silence is his power. The samurai practiced something called shino kakugo, the readiness to die. Not because they were morbid, but because they understood that death is the only honest thing in life. Everything else can be faked, delayed, negotiated, but not death. Society builds an entire illusion to hide this truth. We're told to get married, buy houses, climb ladders as if doing these things will somehow make us immortal. That penguin saw through it. He knew that walking to the ocean wouldn't save him from death. It would only delay it. So he chose to die walking towards something real. That penguin never reached the mountain, but 15 years later, millions of people still talk about him. A bird who couldn't fly became a teacher to the species that conquered the skies. He walked alone, and in doing so, touched more lives than most of us ever will. So here's the question that haunts me, and maybe it'll haunt you too. Are you walking toward the ocean because it's safe? Or are you brave enough to turn around? The crowd will always survive, but only those who leave it will ever truly live. Thank you for watching.